The name Brooke Logan is one that is immediately associated with strength, beauty, and tenacity. She has demonstrated that she is a lady who is capable of dominating both the boardroom and the bedroom, and she has been able to hold her own among the most powerful members of the Forrester family ever since she came into the picture. The story of Brooke's ascent from humble beginnings to become a prominent figure at Forrester Creations is one that exemplifies the qualities of determination, wit, and ambition. As time has progressed, Brooke's romantic life has been nothing short of a complete and utter mess. She has always found herself at the center of severe emotional storms, whether it be because of her turbulent connection with Ridge Forrester or because of the countless battles she has fought with his wives, particularly Taylor Hayes. In spite of everything, Brooke has maintained her composure. Within the realm of fashion, she is a pioneering figure. As far as the dynamics of the family are concerned, she is a fighter, as their love story has been marked by unending cycles of passion, betrayal, and tragedy. Brooke's bond with Ridge has been both her greatest accomplishment and her worst anguish on account of the fact that their love story has been marked by these cycles. In addition to being Ridge's romantic interest, she is also a formidable opponent in her own right, which has contributed to the establishment of her outstanding reputation. Brooke has worked hard to earn her place in the Forrester world by being a mother, a sister, a friend, and a successful businesswoman on multiple fronts. On the other hand, not everyone sees it that way, and Taylor is not one of them. The lady who stands on the opposite side of this unending competition is Dr. Taylor Hayes, a woman whose refined attitude and placid temperament stand in stark contrast to Brooke's blazing passion. Taylor exemplifies grace, deliberation, and a sense of moral purity, in contrast to Brooke, who is bold, daring, and unapologetic despite her actions. Alternatively, that is how she displays herself to the world. Although the tone of their relationship was different, Taylor's relationship with Ridge was just as profound and significant as Brooke's. Taylor and Ridge shared a bond that was characterized by a quiet strength, in contrast to the fiery and sparky presence of Brooke and Ridge. Their connection seems to be founded on a shared comprehension of the more profound principles that underlie life. On the other hand, Taylor's placid demeanor frequently concealed a great drive to safeguard her family at any cost, particularly her children, Thomas, Steffi, and Phoebe. Additionally, in order to protect them, it was frequently necessary to clash with Brooke. The competition that exists between Brooke and Taylor is not solely centered on Ridge, however. The issue at hand is one of pride and respect, as well as the long-standing tension that has been building up between the two women for many years. Both parties have accused the other of being manipulative and self-serving, and both parties have both been guilty of hurting others whom they profess to love in the process of their accusations. However, Brooke's most recent altercation with Taylor is a hint of something new, a demand for respect that has been long overdue. As the most recent series of events unfolds, Brooke finally reaches the point where she can no longer take it. Brooke has had enough of being portrayed as the antagonist in Taylor's eyes for a number of years, more specifically, as someone who steals, manipulates, and causes disruptions. She is resolute in her intention to rectify the situation, not only with Ridge, but with the entire Forrester family as well. The first step in this process is for Taylor to admit the truth about Brooke regarding her true identity. Brooke maintains her composure in the midst of a heated argument that takes place at the Forrester estate. Brooke directs her allegations toward Taylor while Ridge, Steffi, Thomas, and even Eric Forrester are all present and observing. It is not about envy or the love triangle that has been going on for decades. Rather, it is about respect. "Taylor, you have judged me for years," Brooke begins, her voice firm but loaded with emotion. "It's been going on for years. You have portrayed me as the antagonist, the lady who is constantly putting you and Ridge against each other, as well as between you and your family. Well, I'm not that kind of person. Not any longer. I've matured, I've gained knowledge, and I've worked hard to acquire this position. The time has come for you to acknowledge that." Brooke's forthrightness has taken Taylor by surprise, as she is typically able to maintain her composure. Although she is accustomed to their disagreements revolving around Ridge, she finds that this one feels different. What we are discussing here is something more profound, something that has been bubbling away beneath the surface for many years. Brooke presses on, her eyes blazing with the will to follow through. "I'm not the person you know me to be," she said. "There are times when I have erred. However, I have also made certain concessions. My children have been brought up, I have established my job, and I have battled for the things that I believe in. You, Taylor, have evaluated me based on each and every one of the actions that I have made." There is complete silence in the room. Ridge appears to be torn since he is caught between the two ladies he has loved the most throughout his life. Yet Brooke is not yet finished. The tone of her voice becomes more elevated as she says, "Taylor, I am not requesting your approval. I am requesting that you respect mine. Just because I am a member of this family, regardless of whether you like it or not, and I am deserving of being handled in such a manner." A big breath is taken by Taylor before she responds, as she is not the type of person to back down from a dispute. Her thoughts is racing through the years of enmity, the endless battles over Ridge, and the heartache she has felt as she has watched her family be torn apart. With a tone that was tinged with passion, Taylor started off by saying, "Brooke, you've caused so much damage. Ridge, my children, and I have all been harmed by you. You have also caused me to suffer. When you consider everything that you have done, how are you able to stand there and demand respect?" There is no flinch by Brooke. "Taylor, I am not denying that I have made mistakes in the past either, but at the same time, you are not blameless. At each and every point, you have lied to me, you have twisted me, and you have judged me. Over the course of many years, you have elevated yourself above me, as if you are superior or more deserving than I am. However, you are not." Brooke and Taylor are staring each other down, and the tension in the room is apparent. The weight of their shared history is hanging heavily in the air, and it is heavy because of the tension. On the other hand, Taylor is not yet prepared to give in. "Brooke, I have always made it a point to think about what is best for my family. I have never failed to prioritize my children. Could you say the same thing?" The response from Brooke is instantaneous. "I have spared no effort in order to provide for my children. It is true that I have battled for them, just as you have. However, that is not the intended purpose of this, Taylor. You are unable to recognize me for who I am, and this is the reason why. I do not work against you. Not once have I ever been." A brief glimpse of uncertainty can be seen in Taylor's eyes for a brief second. Do you think Brooke is correct? Is it possible that they have both been caught in a vicious cycle of animosity and competition for such a long time that they have lost sight of what is actually important? Ridge takes a step forward as the confrontation proceeds, his face now etched with the expressions of both frustration and despair. For a considerable amount of time, he has been caught in the middle of these two ladies, and now he is being forced to face the reality of their ongoing conflict. Ridge responds, "Enough," with a tone that is subdued but unwavering. "This must come to an end." Brooke and Taylor both turn their heads to look at him, and their faces are filled with a mixture of surprise and rage. The conversation continues with Ridge saying, "This constant fighting, this back and forth, it's tearing us all apart together. When I was younger, I loved both of you in different ways and at various times. Nevertheless, I can't continue to watch the two of you ruin one another. This situation needs to be resolved immediately for the good of our family and for the sake of our children." As the significance of Ridge's comments begins to seep in, Brooke and Taylor exchange glances with one another. It is very evident that their competition has reached an unsustainable level, and that their preoccupation with being correct has rendered them oblivious to the harm that they have inflicted. Nevertheless, even as Ridge is speaking, there is a feeling that this confrontation is not even close to being ended. Brooke's demand for respect is not only about her relationship with Taylor, it is also about restoring her identity, her role in the Forrester family, and her sense of self-worth. Despite her calm and elegance, Taylor is not yet prepared to abandon the convictions that she has had for a very long time. The aftermath of the intense confrontation starts to take shape in the days that follow the interaction. Putting all of her energy into her work at Forrester Creations, Brooke is anxious to demonstrate that she is more than just the lady who has been at odds with Taylor for decades. With her ability to steer new fashion lines and guide the next generation of Forrester talent, she is a formidable force that must be taken seriously. However, despite her remarkable professional achievements, Brooke is still struggling to come to terms with the emotional impact of the talk she had with Taylor. Does she truly deserve the respect that she has been working so hard to achieve? Is it possible that she has simply been stuck in a cycle of competition and resentment for such a long time that she has forgotten who she really actually is? In the meantime, Taylor is having a hard time figuring out who she is as an individual. She has spent many years defining herself in opposition to Brooke, in the sense that she considers her to be a danger to both her family and her happiness. However, now that Brooke is demanding respect, Taylor is compelled to face the possibility that she has been incorrect the entire time. During the time that both women are dealing with the consequences of their fight, the Forrester family is left to pick up the pieces. Ridge is at a crossroads because he is on the verge of making a decision between his love for Brooke and his allegiance to Taylor. Is it possible for him to continue to support both of the women, or will he eventually be forced to pick a side? The tension that has been building up between Brooke and Taylor starts to change as the weeks move into months. There is no instant reconciliation, and there are no tearful apologies. Nonetheless, there is a sense that both ladies are beginning to understand each other in a manner that they have never fully understood each other before. For her part, Brooke is certain in her intention to proceed with grace and dignity when moving forward. It is not that she is requesting Taylor's friendship. Rather, she is requesting a truce, which is a mutual respect that will enable them to cohabit without always being at each other's throats. Taylor, on the other hand, is gradually coming to terms with the possibility that Brooke might not be the villain that she has always imagined her to be. Despite the fact that she continues to be protective of her children and is skeptical of Brooke's influence over Ridge, she is beginning to recognize the strength and resiliency that Brooke has demonstrated throughout the course of her life. Once again, Brooke and Taylor find themselves in a state of solitude in the Forrester mansion, which is a moment of relative calm. This time, there is no ranting and there are no accusations. Rather, there is simple comprehension. The words, "I'm not your enemy, Taylor," are spoken gently by Brooke. The phrase, "I never wanted to be." With a contemplative face, Taylor gives a slight nod. "Perhaps, all these years, we have been fighting the wrong battle," said the other person. This is not a conclusive solution, but it is a beginning. In addition, it is more than sufficient for two ladies who have been engaged in a fierce competition for decades. Fans of the bold and the beautiful may anticipate even more unexpected turns and twists in the events that are unfolding in the tale of Brooke Logan and Taylor Hayes as the episodes continue to air. Will their newly acquired comprehension result in a ceasefire that is long-lasting? On the other hand, will old scars reappear, thereby rekindling the fires of their competition? In this epic feud, there is one thing that can be said with absolute certainty. Brooke's demand for respect has opened the door to a new chapter. It remains to be seen whether Taylor is willing to provide that respect. Nonetheless, regardless of the outcome, the drama is extremely far from being over. Furthermore, as is customary in the world of the bold and the beautiful, nothing is ever determined with absolute certainty.